Japan's been overflowing with tourists because of the super weekend. As the number rapidly increasing, I noticed the Japanese media often report about them, sometimes quite negatively.
信号が赤に変わっているにもかかわらず、目の前にいる警備員の呼びかけにも一切お構いなし。横断歩道をはみ出し、車道で優雅にモデルウォーキング。
警備員さん大変そうだから、ルール守ればいいのに。
やはりマナーの問題、ゴミのポイ捨てであったり、
ゴミをポイ捨てするなどのマナー違反もあるんです。お隣の京都でもオーバーツーリズムの影響が出ているということで、
車道にもはみ出して危険な状態です。そんな中、通りにはカメラやスマホを持って舞妓さんが通ると、
今舞妓さんに向けてかなり多くの外国人がカメラを向けています。今カメラを持った外国人が走り出しました。舞妓さんを追いかけてひたすらずっとついていっています。
ベビーカーを押した女性が乗車できないなど、この混み具合に普段からの利用客は
人が多すぎるっていうか混みすぎるね。困りますよ。だって
溢れかえるゴミ問題です。
There's nothing wrong with reporting that. The Japanese audience deserve to know it, but that type of news often make the perception of all foreigners worse. Even the ones who have nothing to do with it, maybe including ones not even inside Japan. Dictionary meaning of the word 外国人 or 外人 is a foreigner, but we often mean anybody non-Japanese by that.
For example, they'll make a mistake in their essay and say, I want to go to America to talk to foreigners.And I say, if you go to America, you're a foreigner. They are not foreigners. And I think to them, gaijin just equals non-Japanese.
The way Japanese media describe 外国人 is quite concerning. For example, ones who just arrived here yesterday, ones who have been working for Japanese companies more than 10 years, and ones who are raised here. Those three could be fundamentally different, like the language level or cultural knowledge. But the Japanese media and people often describe them just as 外国人 or 外人, giving us the impression that they all have the same traits. We really need to specify or clarify what type of 外国人 we are talking about, as we have so many different types of foreigners, especially nowadays. At least tourists and residents should be completely separated, but this is what I often hear recently, and seems like they are frustrated a lot.
僕はそれ結構以前から言ってるんですよ。合理的ではないな。僕は日本で育って今日観光客で遊びに来た外国人とそれ無理に全部一緒くたにしちゃってるから同列に扱えるようなカテゴリーなんてほぼない不快に思います。
At least in Canada, where I used to live, distinction between tourists and residents was clear. At least in my impression, all the residents, even ones like me who didn't speak English well, were all treated as residents or Canadians. But in Japan, people mostly don't separate it, grouping all of them together.
一緒に共同生活をしている同居人としてやらなきゃいけないこととかっていうのはいろいろあったりするから、その辺のリテラシーとか教育が多分行き届いていない。
外人っていうのがこうよその人っていうイメージでやっぱ使われる。
外国人って呼ぶのは観光客とか一時的に日本に滞在してる3ヶ月以内の人だけを外国人って呼ぶ。それ以外の人は別の名前の別の呼び方をしたら。
But the Japanese media still tend to show foreigners in a stereotypical way and reinforce the image. It's often portrayed as first-time tourists, only speak English, and don't know anything about Japan, and describing them just as 外国人 or 外人, no further explanation. So the audience might mistake residence ones for tourist ones.
The media portrays foreigners not so good light, and it's very stereotypical.
They're just not exposed to people who look like me as being part of Japan. Because even the people they see on TV are usually, from abroad, and they're like playing up the foreigner thing. Like they're not acting like they're Japanese.
The same goes to hafu. Describing them just as hafu, it often comes with assumptions and high expectations. But just like foreigners, we need to specify what type of hafu exactly. At least ones who are raised here and ones not raised here should be in totally different categories. To me, the difference is like dogs and cats. Fundamentally, that's so different. So I find it weird to describe them by the same word. To be clear, I'm not saying we should abolish the word 外国人 or hafu. I think it's totally okay to use it, but understanding that many different types of foreigners exist, what 外国人 means to us should broaden. Otherwise, just one foreign tourist misbehaved, which instantly gets featured in the national TV, and all the other foreigners, including residence ones, might get assumed like the same.
Obviously made news in Japan as well. It's been yeah.
popular.
You do one fucking bad thing and you get your face plastered on the front page of NHK. All it takes is one person to bring it all down.
日本から出てけばいいじゃないかみたいに言う人っていうのは、昨日今日来た観光客とか一時滞在してるような人のことを言ってるんです。
What's likely to happen, which is kinda already happening, is that even more foreign YouTubers or streamers will be coming here for content creation.
Japan is going to have an even bigger content rush, if you will, in the next coming year or two, because I hate to say it, but Japan is a content goldmine.
But Japanese people, especially the Japanese media, still don't have a distinction between those prank YouTubers or streamers, good-mannered ones, and foreign residents, putting them all of them in the same category as 外国人 or 外人。
彼は日本で育った人で、日本の市民権を持ってる、俺たちと同じ人間だからっていう風に僕と親しい人は思える。でも全く僕のことを知らない遠くの方で見ているだけの人だと、いやあいつが外人じゃんで終わってしまう。
そういう人権運動っていうのが広がってきたんですけど、それはどういう風に見てます？
日本におけるブラック・ライブズ・マターの運動はちょっと温度差は感じましたね。デモみたいなこととか立場を主張するとうまくいく場合もあるけど、かえって断絶が起こるんですよ。人々の意識を変える場合っていうのはむしろエンターテインメントの方がいいんですよ。音楽であったりとか楽しいイベントであったりとかっていうポジティブな場所。日本ってね、もうご存知の通り漫画大国というかね、でスラムダンクを見てバスケ始めたりとか、漫画のもっと力っていうのは自分も自覚してたっていうか、僕のメッセージって基本的には思い込みとか偏見とかステレオタイプとか一回それを取っ払いたいと思ってるんです。言って伝えていこうよっていうところはありますよ。